But it was very simple. It was really dumb and relatively boring after you've done it for the 30th time.
Oh, come on.
And you have to just do it again and again and again. Yeah.
Why is this game so boring?
Yeah, they tried to add new mechanics, but the mechanics they added were just so meh. It's like, okay, this was fun the first time I did it, but now this can go away now. And it just kept coming. It just kept going. So yeah, they tried, but they certainly did fail. And sadly, this is still one of the best Digimon games.
It blows my mind! Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. Are you well?
Yes, I am well. I am doing fine now. Better than I was doing last night, though.
Why's that?
I've told you this before, but obviously the listeners couldn't hear that. Listeners, for those of you who don't know, I'm a parent to two boys. The best boys. But last night, not so much. Because, yes, I got throwed up on.
A full-on Exorcist moment. Thrown up on.
Thrown up on.
Yeah, thrown up on, I believe. Full-on Exorcist with your kids, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I was shouting at the youngest. Oh, what is it? The power of Christ compels you.
Christ compels you. I'm about to say, is that it? Yeah, that is it.
The power of Christ compels you.
Just splashing holy water on him as you do it. That's right. Yeah.
And I
think every parent goes through it. That's it. Lovely. The fun of having kids, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Don't just want more.
The best.
Exactly.
But
okay,
then
apart from that,
afterwards, it was you just can't stay upset at all. Afterwards, we wiped his face, and he just lay down on my shoulders. The poor guy. He was so. That it makes you tired to throw up.
No, it's the worst. No doubt. I hate throwing up. I've got like a slight phobia of it. So yeah, poor little fellow, because you can't explain it to him. You can't say why this happened or anything like that, can you? Shame.
Yeah.
And poor you for being thrown up on.
To all the parents listening to this who can relate.
I'm sure there's loads. Yeah, there's loads.
Mm-hmm. But that has absolutely nothing to do with this week's episode.
You just wanted to share. You just wanted to know there were people out there going through the same thing. So,
I feel a connection with our audience. I can share these things. And I'm sure they feel a connection with me as well.
Yes, no doubt.
Right? Shoulder, even elbow nudge, wink, wink, shoulder, shoulder.
Even if it's just the ones laughing at you because they don't have kids, like me.
Yes.
But yeah, we're all connected. So did you get any time to play this week's game?
I did, actually. I did. And I am still not sure how I feel about it.
Wow, that's a broad statement for this game.
It's broad, and it's vague. I'm hoping that chatting it through with you on this podcast can just can clarify some of my feelings. Because I genuinely don't know. I made my notes. I wrote my scores. We've got the letter grade. But I still don't know how I feel about this game.
Okay, ladies and gents, just to tell you, this game is Digimon Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory.
Of course it's Digimon.
One of the newest Digimon games, I believe. There's a couple that came out. There's a visual novel that came out just a while ago called Survive. I think this is the one before that. So
it could be. This was 2017, right?
That's right, 2017, and it was best released. We all know it's produced by Bandai.
Yes.
But it was developed by a company called Media.Vision, which
I don't
looked
recognize. Yeah, when I started up this game, there were 3 or 4 logos that flashed. I didn't recognize any of them except for Bandai Namco.
Yeah, nor did I. I hadn't heard of them. I think some of them are just it was a Digimon anniversary as well, so I think some of those are put up there. But then I checked out Media.Vision.
Yeah.
And then I know they've actually been around since 1993 and have been been doing Japanese RPGs for PlayStation for years.
Oh wow!
They're actually quite big. They actually made a franchise. Have you heard the franchise called Wild Arms?
No.
It's also a Japanese RPG. It's got they're on like their 5th or 6th, so it's been around since PlayStation 1 era. And they're also known for the Valkyria games. Do you know those ones?
Oh, Valkyria Chronicles.
Yes, that's it. They also do those games, which are also really good games.
Okay.
I like those games.
I've never played it, and I've seen almost nothing. I just recognize the name.
Yeah, you've probably seen it on the store or something, right? Because I always see... Oh, it's a great game, by the way. Hopefully it's on the list, I'm sure, but I love that game
It's definitely on the list.
It's hand-drawn as well. It's awesome.
The list has it in for us because this is our 3rd Digimon game.
It's trying to stop Pokemon and just trying to put Digimon out there so all our listeners are like, whoa, what's Digimon?
Why we haven't even gotten a Final Fantasy game or any Call of Duty or any other big franchise.
No.
But
It's just Digimon.
3 Digimon games. Why? All hail the list.
All hail the list. It's at least this one's not the worst. At least we can both agree to that one.
I guess. I mean, we've played the worst.
We played the worst. That's very true. Our very first episode was like the worst Digimon game in existence.
Anyone who hasn't listened to that episode, go check our very first episode. It's on Digimon World 1, released for the PS1. Check out that episode and subscribe to our Patreon, please. It's the worst. It's so bad.
It is. It's always remarkable to see what we had to struggle through in our PlayStation 1 era. As like, wow, this is so cool, and you gotta save, and you gotta do this, and you gotta... Oh, that was so bad. Anyway, do you want to jump straight into the narrative? Because I bet you did the same thing narratively on this one that you did on Digimon World 3.
You are 100% correct.
Yeah.
When you asked, should we jump into narrative, I wanted to say, what narrative?
Yeah, exactly.
What narrative? I played this game for hours and nothing meaningful happened. It's just small talk all the time.
There was a lot of stuff.
There's a task for you. Please go get some tissues at the hardware store. Okay,
that's right.
That's it. And then you bump into paranormal detectives. It's nothing. It's meaningless.
There are a lot of fetch quests and the like in this game. That's very true, especially at the beginning and midway. It's all just slow progression. Yeah, even midway, it takes a long time for this story to actually get some momentum going.
Oh man, I think you're right. The exact same thing's going to happen in this episode that happened in Digimon World 3. Yeah. I'm going to say there's no narrative. Nothing happened. And then you're going to tell me, oh, not only did something happen,
that's right.
Everything happened. The universe was under siege by like Digimon.
Okay, you're actually not too far from the truth there, mate.
No!
Okay, now spoilers for people listening. I'm not going to go into too much because there's too much there, but I am going to give you... This is what... when you're doing all those fetch missions, it leads up to the inevitable that... Okay, your character has his identity stolen, you know that?
Yes, I know that. He had his identity... So, in the current climate of... I think they're in Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
Your online profile is your identity. So if that gets hacked and stolen, it's like identity theft.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what happened to you. So you're working... I'm just thinking out loud, making sure I've got this down. You're working with another hacker group called Hoodie to try and find your account?
Correct, yes. Who hacked it and why, and track it down and get it back. Yes, correct.
Right, and your best mate, you, isn't totally on board.
Correct. See, you do know some of it. He isn't totally on board. You're absolutely right. Your best friend, you, isn't.
Because he's secretly the big bad, because he's secretly the antagonist.
You're so close. Okay, ladies and spoilers. Because you is in love with you, and he's the one who stole it. I kid you not. You is secretly in love with you and kind of wanted to control you a bit by stealing your account. and so that he could have you chasing him. Yes. Well, that's okay. And then, these are very brief notes. This is still the tiniest bit. After recovering your account and stuff, later on, the eaters, the weird squiggly data things, you must have come across one or two of them, right?
I did.
Some big grand things happen. They come along, they attack Chosei, and he gets put into a coma called Eden Syndrome.
You mean Cheetos?
Cheetos, the guy you call Cheetos. He got put in a coma, which no one wakes up from. And then Ryuji, who was Cheeto's best friend, leader, I'm going to call him Cheetos now. Cheetos took the hit for him, and he's the reason, and that's why he's in the coma. Ryuji was supposed to be in the coma. And then Ryuji goes super depressed and full emo, and attracts the attention of a Digimon, called Academion, who then combine with Ryuji, and then he wants to murder all the people and Digimon. And then he goes on a big murderous rampage through the Digimon world and the real world, actually, going full mental, blowing up buildings, everything. Then you... Sorry, it's weird. Then you help Cheetos come out of the coma by using Erica, and then Academion, with Ryuji, doesn't believe you that Cheetos is free or awake.
Yes,
And then you have a big fight. He realizes Cheetos is alive. Then Ryuji and Academion split apart, and then Academion goes after Cheetos again, and then Ryuji this time does jump in the way and gets smacked by him, and then drama everywhere. Ryuji leaves, but he doesn't get into a coma. He leaves. Academion then levels up to his ultra form, and then Erica has to go into the digital world and fuse with the Eaters to become the Eaters Legion, which then she becomes no longer human, so that she can help take down Academion, because they need the superpowers that she can disable him a little bit and then attack it. And then this is not it. Because of all of the destruction and everything that's caused, Erica, in her new Eden Legion form, using the power of nanobots or whatever the hell, creates an entire new universe where none of this happened, where she moves you all to, and only your character can remember.
No.
So everybody else is fine. Nobody's accounts got hacked. But Erica no longer exists in the universe. And then at the end, you just see this little blue butterfly to denote that she's kind of looking over everyone because she became like an ominous computer being. There you go. That's a very brief story of Digimon Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory.
No! No!
These things are so anime. It's crazy. So extreme.
I can't believe any of this. Okay, just for reference, ladies and gents, you are a clerk at an internet cafe in Tokyo.
Yeah.
That is it. That is what's going on, right? You're a group of hackers.
That's right. Just a little
in
group
a
of
little
hackers,
corner shop. That's it. That's it. And all of this happens because of that.
Yeah.
No.
Fundamentally.
No.
And the eater problem. Yeah.
You know what I say to that?
What?
No!
Well, at least the story isn't that bland, but it does take a freaking age to get to anything of importance. It does take so long.
I googled. It says the story is 50 hours long.
Ooh, that's long.
I've played games longer than that. We all have, but whoa, wow! It's too. The pacing is too slow.
Yeah, the engagement isn't there.
It
does take far too long.
This game has some bad pacing. I remember the pacing in Digimon World 3 was also bad, but worse in that case. But even now, 6 years ago, they still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's with all the things developing, be it Persona and all the masterclasses of actual storytelling and narrative now. This one, they don't seem to fix it. They like keeping it to the old school method that we had in the PlayStation 1 era. Like, oh, that's fine. we'll make the end really cool, but let's just go make him get some nails and go make him make a friend and go make him,
We had the same comments for Digimon World 3.
Yeah, we really did.
Right?
We really did.
Around the developers of these games trying to keep them old school, but also, modernize it a tiny bit, but not nearly enough. It seems like
not yet. Yeah, no, 100%.
They're sticking to their guns.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I think you're right that they're just keeping the same formula again and again. It's strange because this Digimon game and Cyber Sleuth, the one before, it did do quite well reception-wise, but it's because the games that came before it were so bad. This was a massive jump, and so people were like, "Hey, finally a Digimon game that everybody can enjoy."
It's
because the other ones are so bad. Average looks good. It's like, whoa!
I get it. I get it. If you feed someone slop and you give them toast,
toast is amazing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I can't believe these stories always elude me. I didn't get it in Digimon World 3.
No.
I didn't get it in Digimon World 1, and I didn't get it in this one either.
Well, it's ladies and there's a lot of text to read. It's very slow. Even the conversations can just be mundane and boring when you just, they're not engaging. Even when you're speaking to the occult people or these other characters, you're just like, oh, come on, get some story. Give me some sort of development in conversation that I can follow, because it does go so slowly, and it is just text after text after text after text.
So, in a lot of cases, in most games, the leader of a group is usually quite stoic.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but that really isn't very entertaining to read or watch a stoic person.
No, it's 100%. Yeah, I agree entirely.
Ryuji in this case. And even his sister has... It's just not entertaining to
sister's better than Ryuji, in my opinion.
Yes.
At least the sister's cute and got that weird little whale keyboard, which was kind of cool.
She's quirky.
Yeah, exactly. And introvert, so of course I had something to relate to there.
And there's Cheetos that make up for the bulk of the comic relief.
Yeah, exactly.
But he gets a bit annoying after a while, right?
Oh, a lot. Very annoying.
Hey.
He is annoying throughout.
There we go. Predictable.
You're normal, it's right. It's your normal cliche Japanese trio, so to speak.
It just makes me wish that I could throw this silent protagonist cliche in the bin.
Do you know what bugs me? Is Baldur's Gate 3 has a silent protagonist.
I heard.
I know it's a weird one to chuck out there. I understand in a game of that scale that the dialogue would have to be colossal for us speaking. But it's so weird to just... You'll see these bits where you're flirting with a companion, and then your character would just raise his eyebrows but not say anything. Yeah. What do you think about that words I just said a moment ago, but now I'm just staring? No, it's so weird. But anyway, so I digress. I'm getting annoyed with the silent protagonists. I understand it's a lot, but silent protagonists are just so detaching from the story. People should... There's loads of voice actors out there. They'd love the work. I'd do it. They're just going to give me the script. I'll read it out for you.
Exactly.
I find that annoying as well.
Look how... the argument is that you can sort of inject yourself into the main protagonist. Then you're playing as yourself. But they've stopped doing that because they've given the silent protagonist their own... sort of mannerisms and facial expressions.
No, that's right. Reactions to said statements and sentences.
Exactly.
And stuff
so
like that.
It's not a case of you anymore. They're their own person.
No, I agree.
And I had a point. What was my point going to be? Oh, right. Final Fantasy 16. Look at that. They threw away the silent protagonist. They threw it away ages ago. But
that's true.
Look how good Clive is. Not a great name, but the character is awesome.
No, I agree. It's the new level of storytelling, and it should be in anything, say, AAA, or granted, I think most things. I don't know. I know we call them AAA titles. I just want to. Is there a AA title? I don't.
Yes, there is.
Is there an A? There are A titles. That's actually a terminology, is it? Okay. All games in the A category should have a voiced protagonist. Doesn't have to be a lot, but just so for me, I get that. Like you said, you're supposed to. I don't know, read the statements out loud, like you're asking the question, and then have somebody. Like no one's doing that. No one's going, "Hi, my name is Claron of Vangeria," and then getting a reply back. They're just reading it and then pressing next. Anyway. I'm going to digress into a rant about those things now. Anything else narrative you want to talk about?
It's no, not really.
No.
I'm sure we can sit here for quite a while dissecting everything, but there really isn't. I didn't get into it a lot.
Okay,
because
visuals
it takes
then.
so damn long.
No, it does take too long. There's just not that progression like Persona has, that where you want to know what's coming around each door. Okay, visuals then. What did you think?
Visuals are a big improvement. I think I didn't play the original Cyber Sleuth. The Hacker's Memory is my first of the newer Digimon games, but the visuals look like a big improvement. I like. I like that there's effort put into how things look. I like the internet cafe, Erica's room. I just don't think they've 100% found their own unique style. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like if I play a Pokemon game, I can just by looking at the style immediately see, oh, okay, this is a Pokemon game. Or if I play Persona 5. There's nothing else like Persona 5. Even Persona 3 and 4.
Yeah, they do have their own styling.
Immediately by just looking at the style, I don't think Digimon is landing that. In the visuals department, I mean.
These games were actually, strangely enough, they were designed for the Vita and then ported to the PlayStation 4. So... Yeah, so they were designed because handheld in Japan and other Asian countries is massive compared to the West. They're playing on trains and buses and planes and stuff like that. And of course Digimon is huge. It's not as big as Pokemon, but it is massive in Asia. So these were actually designed, both Cyber Sleuth, the first one, and Hacker's Memory were designed for the PlayStation's Vita and its screen. Which it does look very good. Yeah, and it is. It's like you said. It feels like it's definitely the right direction, but then it also comes across a bit like they're using the assets again and again. It's just kind of bland and boring.
I think you're right. This is the right direction. I just don't think they're there yet.
No.
So it's just a case of them needing to keep going.
I thought the cutscenes were awesome. Like,
yes,
I'm not sure how many you went to, but the cutscenes are really polished and really like high definition, really, really nice to watch. Like, those were awesome. I was like, why can't the game be this? That would be so cool.
It really would have. I like the cutscenes as well. They look really great, and I can't imagine that those cutscenes were for in-engine PS Vitas.
No, yeah, exactly. No, they
look really great.
No, that's true. That would have been from a different business, different party. Because those are high definition, really good cutscenes. Like those, I looked forward every time. There was only a few of them, but every time one rolled on was generally the highlight graphically for me.
I totally agree.
But there were other things. This game plays a lot like Pokemon, right? It is fundamentally the rock paper scissors type aspect to the battles, except for in this game you get 3-on-3. Right? Or 3 and then you get 3 in the background. But I did enjoy their special moves. The other moves you got to do for each Digimon were a bit meh, like, using a normal attack. But each one, when you used their special attack, had that slight animation to it for all 300 Digimon. That I thought was quite cool from my baby brain, just thinking, oh yeah, it's so cool to see War Greymon do his weird big sphere thing.
I didn't get my little brain enjoyed that. So how would one of them look? I don't.
You must have used your special move.
I had. What's the little rock man starter?
You got the little rock fella.
Yeah. And he's got rock smash, so he points his head towards them and then just...
That's right, and then just jumps. Yeah, okay.
Are those the one you're talking about?
Yeah, they get a bit better as your Digimon evolve into the Ultimates and Megas and stuff like that. Yeah, they do get a bit more flashy.
Yes.
For example, Wargreymon actually jumps in the air, lifts up his hands, and a spirit bomb type thing forms in it, and then he throws it down at the Digimon in front of you. Sadly, you never get to see the end of the animation, so it doesn't actually hit. It's the aspect of him throwing, and then it's finished. So it's a tad unpolished. I'd love to be able to see the attacks hit. But in that same right, Pokemon's only just started doing that in the years and years they've existed. You always saw the beginning animation, but you never actually saw the hitting animation.
Goodness, but even the bar Game Freak is setting for Pokemon games isn't that high.
No, really, it isn't. That's one of the biggest shames. Now, I'm trying to find the nice things about this, because I hated the static images when you spoke, and if you said something shocking, when you said something shocking, they'd go in their little screen, and their little character image would either go or if they were tired, they'd lean over whilst they're talking. But it was always just like 6 different expressions they'd use each time for their little character image each time. Did you notice that? And I did,
but I thought I have to disagree here.
You like that, did you?
I think the dialogue boxes is some of the... This is going to sound a bit... this is going to sound like a big statement, but some of the best dialogue not actual dialogue, but the visuals they used for when dialogue was on screen is some of the best I've seen.
Oh, really? Lots of people complained to myself that they seemed a bit too robotic and kind of soulless. But each their own. You actually enjoyed it. Yeah, go on.
I enjoyed it. I think what I'm trying to say is, in loads of games, it would be an image of the person on the left and an image of the person on the right.
Yes, that's right. The normal. Yeah.
But what I really liked about the way they did the visuals for the dialogue in this game is any character can really be positioned anywhere on screen.
Mm-hmm.
It can be behind another person. The camera can pan around. It can be 3 on screen and they can just move around like they want to. It can even just be the camera fixed on someone as they're walking.
That's true. That did happen. Yeah, you're right.
So it might be a bit robotic, but it looked like...
Yeah, I get what you mean. When you compare it to the old school, like I said, left and right character icon or avatar icons, just going, you're just talking to one another. It is far more free moving and free forming than that. Maybe I'm being a bit mean in my regard. I just didn't like the character models were just a bit. I don't know. They looked soulless, in my opinion.
Yes,
maybe that's
did.
Just me.
You're right. They really did. I think they were designed nicely, but the animation of these characters just weren't there. You as the main protagonist, what did you call your silent protagonist?
I just used the normal name. I think his name was Kasuke or something.
Really? There's a normal name?
If you don't insert the name, it gives you the default name. If you just go next, if you don't change it to Dave or whatever.
Okay. I didn't know that. Ladies and gents, Dave was here when he gave me the disc, because he's got the disc, I don't. I inserted the disc, and he watched me insert the name for my character. I called my silent protagonist Nut Butter.
Because that's it. Who doesn't want to be saved by Nut Butter? The digital world was saved by Nut Butter.
I definitely do.
No, exactly. So, it's a strong name.
Seeing Nut Butter on screen and cycling through his 6 animations... I think that's fine. It's much better than a static image.
Yes, no, I agree. The static image, I'm glad they moved away from that, because that's too old school now. And then on my last thing, now granted, I watched Digimon as a child. I think you said you had the Digimon card deck, didn't you?
Yes, I played the card game.
Ago. Did you ever watch the anime? Or cartoon?
See, this is very specific. I watched season 3.
Whoa, that is specific. I don't even know. I don't even know who they are.
I can't remember his name, but there was a not big, but medium-sized red dinosaur type Digimon.
Oh, Gilmon.
Yes, I think.
little red thing that was and there was a girl who had like a fox.
Yes. Exactly this.
Yeah, I can somewhat remember. I can remember that. Yeah, okay. I can somewhat remember those ones. Did you ever see? As a kid, I had a huge crush on a Digimon called Angemon. Or Angewoman, sorry. Have you ever seen Angewoman?
No, I'm googling it now. How to?
You have to.
Oh, Angewoman. Gewomon. I'm googling it now.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh wow! Now I have a crush on Angewoman.
As a child, I loved Angewoman for the obvious reasons. Man. I'm sure you can see on there, and I had to give it props for this because you can get Angewoman, and my other favorite was Beezelmon. See, you just write Beezelmon, as in like
Bezel Mon.
Yes.
Of course, a 13-year-old would be in love.
Yeah, right. Those were my two, and you can get them in this game. So I had to give it props for that because my childhood was having just the two of those. I didn't care about any of the other ones, just Angewoman and Beezelmon because they were like
that's good stuff. That's
it
good
was
stuff.
Two sides of the coin, and of course Angewoman's hot. Angewoman is hot. Like damn.
Yeah.
I remember. Sorry, I had such a crush on her when I was like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't remember when it came out.
Who wouldn't? What?
7, I know, 8, 9, right? I know.
Wouldn't watch that and think, oh wow, this is. Should I be feeling this?
Yeah, they're digital monsters. Am I okay?
But the visuals, just I think is a big improvement. I don't think they're there yet.
No,
but I
really
think they're heading in the right direction. And they've got a lot of momentum that they can keep going with. Was this the last big Digimon game that they released?
They released a couple games called I'm not sure if this was after or before, called Next Order, which is more like a MMO type play. It's a kind of game. And then there was Digimon Survive, which was a visual novel that had like a tactics like gameplay in it, but it was more a visual novel than it was a game.
So I think that's big. Monster collecting single player epic.
Yes,
this was the last one.
Yes, to my knowledge, yeah.
I see. Okay, so they're due.
Yes, I think they are due another one. Because I know the card game is building momentum and stuff, so Digimon is being talked about. So I'm guessing there will be another Digimon game coming out at some point.
Do you think? I want to know your opinion on this. Do you think because Pokemon started high, that they don't feel they need to innovate or raise the bar, and because Digimon started low, that they feel they need to catch up and gain more momentum?
I think your first statement is definitely correct. The fact that Pokemon can release any game and it sells millions. In fact, they just had a statement the other day where they're reviewing their Pokemon release set schedule. Because they're releasing a Pokemon game once a year or something, and they're coming out crap. And they actually admitted that they're going to look at their schedule and see if they're going to lengthen the development time.
Wow!
Because of exactly what you're saying, they're just pumping them out to make money. They're making another 100 new Pokemon, slapping on a story about legendary Pokemon, and then that's it. Send it out. Let's get them sold and just make tons of money. Yeah,
done dusted. And what do you think about my second question?
In regards to Digimon, I remember years ago when Pokemon came out, Digimon was of course pushed as the new competition for Pokemon, digital monsters.
Yes, like Sonic rivaling Mario.
Yeah, exactly it. And in Japan and other Asian companies, it did really well, like crazy well. Now they do love, of course, Pocket Monsters. They love anything digital. So in Japan, Digimon did massive. It did great numbers. Not so much in the West. Because we were Pokemon obsessed, it was really hard to get into the market here. Like in Japan, there are Digimon games in Japan that have been out for years. There's like 60 there, and we have like 10. Because Digimon actually did become quite a thing. Digimon was really big. The movies and the series and all the other things, the books, the manga, had huge momentum over there because, granted, they absorbed that type of stuff. They love the bizarre and the anime aspect thing. But in the West, you're right. The West has always been losing ground to Pokemon, just because Pokemon kind of got there first, and it is always hard to gain that ground against it. I don't think they ever really will, but they are gaining traction, especially with the card games and a few things coming into play.
That was going to be my third question. Do you think the gap between Pokemon and Digimon is closing?
It is, but I still think it's got a ways to go. It's so sad. Well, not sadly, but Pokemon just makes so much money. I like even just their cards and merchandise and the games and stuff. It's night and day. Digimon aren't even close to that yet.
Gotcha.
And probably never will be. I know Digimon's one of the largest Pokemon is one of the largest companies in Japan. It's absolutely prints money. It's insane. It is absolutely balmy how much money they take in. When Pokemon in Corona, the card company, they couldn't keep up with demand. They literally bought like 200 facilities to start printing, just like that, with their cash, just to get demand out there because it was so crazy.
Wow.
No, yeah, sadly,
incredible.
Pokemon's a mammoth company. It is absolutely colossal in size.
Okay.
And it's gonna. I don't think Digimon will ever breach that gap.
Because if Pokemon ever gets some real competition, I think they'll finally pull their socks up. But
yeah, I agree.
You're saying it doesn't seem likely, right?
I don't think in our lifetime, no. But hey, I'm happy. I hope to be wrong. I'd love the idea of some proper competition out there, so Pokemon could actually up their game a bit.
If the Pokemon company can give the license to a game to someone, the likes of Nintendo first-party developers,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, some first-party would be cool.
That would be. I know it would probably take 5 years or something to make, but can you imagine a Pokemon game to the polish of Mario Odyssey?
No, exactly. A Pokemon game should take, say, 3 to 5 years. I think that's exactly right. Just look at, again, Baldur's Gate comes out. It's relatively polished. Got a few patches coming out now. But no one's complaining it's a buggy mess, are they? They're not complaining it's falling apart or my computer doesn't run it. Because it took 6 years. Yeah. And the open beta was out for 3 of those years just to polish it.
Oh, yeah, on early access.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, Pokemon could do the same thing. But anyway, we'll go to a rant then. Yeah, go on.
The case study that I usually go to is The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
That was such a big, good, polished...
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Colossal game when it came out. Mm-hmm. It's still making a lot of money 8 years later.
Mm-hmm. No, it really is.
So that just goes to show something like Baldur's Gate is going to print money for years to come.
Oh, yes, no doubt. They've made a fortune already. Yeah. They've made Larian Studios' head just said, due to the success of this game, they're excited to do another Divinity, Original Sin, and keep on the lookout for another Baldur's Gate. Because it was so successful, and the publicity and stuff, they've just been given the green lights to kind of do what they want again. Because it's that's how game companies, it should work. It should be a case of, everybody loves this game. You're great. I'm going to give you another IP. Do the same thing. Yes. Mix it up. Yeah, exactly. Gamers want quality now. Most gamers. Exactly.
Ever since the Cyberpunk 2077 debacle.
Yes, yeah, exactly right. That was
unfortunately, there's just so much politics.
Yeah, that's the sad thing. Again, it is just politics, money, and development time. It's like you get these IPs. Oh, it needs to be out next year, Christmas. Impossible. You cannot make a fully fleshed out, unbuggy game in a year. It's especially for PC. There's too many variables. It's so difficult. Unless you want to make these Roblox things, which are just. Have you seen
live
Roblox?
Service games.
Yeah, which are just, and again, that's printing money because people want, I don't know, a Pirates of the Caribbean hat or cheats.
Well, people keep making these live service games, and only a fraction of them stay around or become profitable. You heard of Amazon's... What was that game? Amazon's The Crucible. Did you hear about that?
Not entirely. What happened?
It's a live service game. It's an arena shooter like Overwatch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It got released, and then it got taken down because it wasn't entirely finished, and then it just got straight up cancelled.
Whoa.
After it initially released.
Well, that's like you heard about the Knights of the Old Republic for the Nintendo Switch?
No.
Do you know that the game couldn't be completed? It was so broken that one of the final scenes or the final parts of the game, the Switch couldn't run it. It actually, you could not, there was not one copy you could complete the game on because it was ported to the Switch in such a bad way. Yeah.
Oh no.
People got their money back. And this is Knights of the Old Republic. This is, I don't know if it's still owned by... Yeah, and Obsidian? Was that Obsidian or not? No, who did it?
Obsidian.
No, that doesn't sound right when I say that now. It was a big IP.
Yeah.
And the idea that they ported it to the Switch and it didn't work and they knew it and they still just did it anyway for money. That's the industry we're in now. It's a case of
products. It's the worst.
It really is. But anyway,
before we get too mad, let's
Digimon. Audio Man, Digimon. What did you think of the audio in this?
The audio in this game took me by surprise.
Okay, in a good way or a bad way?
The narrative, I wasn't surprised. Nothing happened, and I knew I was missing something. The visuals, I liked it, but I don't think it's there yet. The audio, man, this took me by surprise. I liked it a lot. I like the audio in this game.
What about it? Out of curiosity, just the themes it ran with, or
the
what?
Music.
Yeah.
When this game started, when I put this in my PS5 and it started up, can you remember what my first comment was about the music?
Oh no, I can't. When the chat room's coming over, yeah.
No, when the game started, when we're looking
literally
at
just
that
a bit,
intro
okay,
video.
yeah. No, I forget. Go on, remind me.
I said this sounds very unique, and I like it a lot. What I said was, this sounds like Danganronpa.
Yes, you did compare it to Danganronpa. No, I remember. Yes, you did. It did. No, I get what you mean entirely.
Whose composer is, I think, for the first 2 games, or maybe even the third Danganronpa as well, is Masafumi Takada. Have a quick guess. Who's the composer?
No way.
For Cyber Sleuth Hackers.
Is it really?
Yes. It's the same dude. It's Masafumi Takada. This is the same guy that Danganronpa.
Wow, that's quite an ear you have there in regards to your musical scores. I like it. It's that's
strange.
Cool. I didn't know that. That's really cool. Because that's a big. See, this shows how big a deal Digimon is in Japan and the like.
Yes.
To be able to get him as the composer for this Digimon game, that's a big thing.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. I can hear the music. It's not just some synths that a teenager made on their keyboard to send to the studio. No, you I don't know how to explain this, because I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
But the music is, each track sounds unique enough to be its own track. You can hear by just in the music where you are. You could be in Eden, the Digilab, online, wherever. They utilize instruments. This is a digital game. Well, what I mean by that is this is Digimon. Digital is a big theme and motif.
Yeah, 100%.
But they use analog instruments like horns, which I thought was just really cool.
It's a cool balance of being super modern, the future, traveling through cyberspace, but going back to the old school horns and brass instruments and stuff like that.
They even did this in the Yes, and I don't know if that's between the modern and retro balance Digimon is trying to maintain, or if it's a balance between the in-game digital world and the in-game real world. You can't.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
I don't even know if it's just Masafumi Takada doing what he likes, because he likes horns.
I like that. I like the last aspect more, because you can recognize someone's music by their love of a certain instrument, can't you?
Yes.
You can always
and that's exactly what happened in this case, actually.
John Williams always has. I don't know the instrument. The flutes. It goes.
Yeah.
He's always violins and always like a pan flute or a normal flute or.
Oh yeah.
And you can always hear that same in almost every single like Harry Potter and stuff. You can almost hear the same part of the orchestra he always likes to rely on or use most.
Yes.
Granted, I'm just going to fanboy about John Williams now. And it's interesting to say that you, like I said, you can actually hear each composer by the instruments they love to use. And you even got it straight away from Danganronpa to Digimon because you recognized his play style or the
totally
the way he likes to build up his sounds and stuff. No, it's very cool. I didn't know that. That's I should probably give it a better grade because apart from the soundtrack, I found it kind of boring.
I can totally get that. Yeah,
I'm not an audio person, right? So no voice acting is a no for me. So I'm like,
wait, what do you mean? It doesn't have no voice acting. It's got Japanese voice acting.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, I am being mean now. That's very true. Sorry, it's true. Strangely enough, I just drowned that out because it actually does play, doesn't it? It does. For some reason, I'm like, they're just. Well, I don't understand that. I'm just reading. So in my mind, there was no voice acting. But no, you're exactly right. I guess my problem would be no English voice acting.
That's it. There's no English sub. It's all dubs. But I mean, I tried listening to the Japanese voice acting. I tried to grade it, but I don't know Japanese.
No, it's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard. You don't know if they're hitting the emotion hard enough. You don't know if they're being sarcastic enough. How do you know when it's another language? No, they normally are quite good.
Just gave it a regular grade. I think a good bit of sound design is when you jump between Eden and the internet cafe. Eden being this online virtual place, and the internet cafe being a real internet cafe in game.
Yeah, I agree. I also go on.
When you're in Eden and you're running around, there's background music and all the other regular sound design. But when you go back into the internet cafe, all you're hearing is just people clacking on keyboards.
Yeah, the normal sounds.
The air conditioning in the corner, just someone in the corner giving an awkward cough.
You immediately come detached from cyberspace because you've gone back into the real world because you're just hearing
exactly that is done on purpose. There's
I agree.
That was done super intentionally, and I think it's very, very, very good. I don't know who the sound designer is for this game, but kudos to whoever decided to do that.
I also like the sound effects for the islands. You know, the islands where you get to raise your Digimon?
Yeah, on the DigiFarm.
Yeah, on the DigiFarm. It was a lot more playful, because you're kind of doing the Tamagotchi side of everything. You're feeding them, you're training them.
Which has to be in the Digimon game.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, it does. It's literally their selling aspect to when it came on against Pokemon, and I thought that's fun because it almost feels like you're playing a mini game, like a little game within inside a game.
Yes,
because you're talking to them and you're training them a little bit, and you're trying to feed them and all the other things. It feels like a micro manager sim, and the music matches it because it takes you to another place. You're like, it's almost Inception. You're in a cyberspace inside a cyberspace. Inside the real world. Correct.
And
no, I thought that was cool. That's all I wrote down there.
For the Japanese target market, who's the main target market, that is, that's crack. They love it.
No, it is. They do. They love that. And the West is starting to absorb a lot of the Japanese and the Asian fun little things now. So it's got that little endorphin hit that we all like, especially as an older person. It reminds me of my childhood. I never had a Tamagotchi, but now I get to have a Tamagotchi inside a game like this, which was fun for a little bit until it wasn't.
No, I totally get that. Do you think the mixture of Western and Eastern genres, the mixture of those two is turning into something unique and, with both and neither Western and Eastern genres?
I get what you mean. I think there's a lot of trying. You may or may not know they're doing a real life version of One Piece is coming out on Netflix soon.
I saw and I hate it.
Yeah, same. And that those things are always the things that remind me of the West coming together with the East to try and make something. And I always think everything gets lost in translation because the West is trying to do everything real and fun and like American funny, and the East are trying to add, a rubber man and weirdly inappropriate sex jokes and stuff like that, and it just comes across, and it doesn't work. I think
it doesn't. It's like It's like a sushi all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, exactly right.
The entire point of sushi is to get all the food in 3 or 4 bites.
Yeah, and it's freshly made. You can't put
exactly.
As soon as you put it on a buffet, it starts. You want it made for you, and I kind of think westernizing Japanese products is great so that we can enjoy them. But I think, in my opinion, it should stay right there. You just translate them for what they are. Yeah, because you want them to keep their identity, and every time we try to combine them, they've kind of sucked. And there's very little examples of that where it's not the case. All the real-life movies that the Americans have tried to do for anime has fallen flat. Netflix tried to do a Cowboy Bebop series, which is a very famous anime. And then the series itself spent a lot of money on it. It just didn't work. It just plain didn't get the numbers. It doesn't work.
There's a lot that just goes lost in translation.
It really does.
I remember, I can't remember his name, but there's a director who tried to remake Oldboy.
Okay.
The film Oldboy?
I don't know the film Oldboy. What's Oldboy?
Oh, Oldboy is, wow.
It's a shocker. You know a film I don't. Enjoy.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
But it's a 2001 Korean film. It's a revenge flick. And it's extremely good. But some director, I can't remember his name, tried to remake it with Josh Brolin in 2013. They just missed the entire plot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what happens. I don't think...
A lot goes lost in translation.
We actually do well just keeping it the same. Like Japan and stuff, they eat the Marvel movies. They love Iron Man and the Hulk and all that. And the West enjoys their Pokemon and Digimon and Demon Slayers and stuff like that. I think that's the sweet spot. We should enjoy each other's cultures and not really combine them. Yes. You know, I'm not talking about appropriation and all that other nonsense. But I think enjoying these other things. Like you said, even the Korean movies. My wife watches Korean dramas. I love that Korean dramas are getting big on Netflix. Because... it's just the drama with subtitles, so you're literally taking it as is. It's just giving you the words, and I love that cultures are slowly starting to blend into each other, and I think that's a lot of fun. But I don't think they should combine. I think they should always just be what it is and be accessible but not combined. It feels like we're discussing about cultures combining instead of Digimon here, but go on.
No, it's just interesting. I've got a question. Do you think that's because you come from a country that is essentially just a load of cultures combined?
Whoa, that's a good question. Damn, I feel like I'm on Newsnight. I guess that's possible. Yes, England is most certainly a complete mixing pot of cultures and religions and all this other situation. Yeah. I guess I've been brought up that way. Yeah, I guess it has to have an effect. Yeah, I wasn't expecting such a deep and in-depth question. I would say yes, you're right. I think it must have a way how I view things because I was brought up in England. It's true.
It is quite interesting because you've even referred to not the English, that's rude, but yourself and your culture as, is this going to be rude if I say a mutt?
Oh, yes, a mutt. I'd say more a mongrel, or in England we call it a Heinz 52, which is a nod at tomato sauce, because it had, back in the day, varieties of tomato in it or something, was something called Heinz 52 or 57 or something, I can't remember. Yes, but a mixture. A mutt is a little bit more aggressive.
Oh, is it? I apologize.
It sounds a bit like, get away from here, you mutt.
Yeah,
but no, yes, we're certainly a mongrel of heritage and background. Yeah, no doubt. None of us are pure anymore.
I'd love to keep talking about that, but I think we should keep that for a bonus episode. We've lost the plot entirely. You really have. How about we just jump into gameplay?
Gameplay, yeah, let's go into gameplay. So what did you think? Now, granted, I've played this game quite a lot. I've been into Digimon for a while and all the other Otaki type of things.
Yeah.
What did you think?
This game just isn't fun. It's just not fun. It's boring. And it might just be because the gameplay is suffering from the pacing.
Yes, so it does. I think that's very true.
Right, I played for a load of hours, and I can count on my one hand, okay, maybe two hands, the amount of battles I've had.
Really? Like,
Did
you not go?
It's a load of walking. It's a load of talking. It's a load of tutorials. And the pacing just suffers greatly. It really does.
The pacing does. The pacing does.
And the gameplay suffers by extension. It's too much walking and talking.
I agree.
Not enough playing.
So you're not a fan of the grind, like old school Japanese grinding, for lack of a better term.
No,
because
I'm not.
There's a lot of that in this. Yeah.
I used to be, but then something happened 4 years ago that turned my time into only having. I'd be lucky to have an hour in the evening to play.
No, I got you. Yeah, you can't.
So
just
I
fill
used
that with
to respect the grind. Yeah, not anymore.
Well,
this is also why I can't play the Yakuza games.
Yeah, it's a massive grind. Those, and then even the story on those are long.
Yeah.
No, I get what you mean. This is definitely an acquired taste. And, I often wonder, again, I'm biased because of my childhood. So there is a bias that comes to these games because you're right that the gameplay mechanic of just 3-on-3, press attack, the only hard battles are the boss battles and everything else is relatively easy. But there is an aspect of the grind. I do play Japanese RPGs, so I do a lot of grinding. I said do. And the thing is, what you probably didn't get into is the actual digivolving and stuff mechanic itself.
I looked into it. I found it at the Digilab, and I could evolve. I could digivolve my. I can't remember his name. Rock
Dude. Yeah. Rock
Dude. I could almost evolve my Geodude. Digivolve.
Yeah.
But. And I could digivolve it into, what 8 different Digimon?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It has quite a branching tree. Yeah. That was just the way to have...
de-digivolve?
Yeah, that's where it gets complex. See? Now, when you evolve your Digimon, you have I can't think of something, it's attenuation level or something like that. For example, say Rock Pokemon, he could only level up to level 20. Yeah? And then when you leveled up to level 20... you get 3 options to evolve into, right?
All right.
But you'll notice on your tree, there were 2 options where your Rockman had to be level 25, but you couldn't get there.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So what you have to do is evolve them into their mega forms, and then de-evolve them back, and then Rockman's, I can't remember what the letter was, will increase from level 20 to level 25. So when you de-digivolve them, that gets higher, so that again opens up access to other Digimon. And of course, you've got to have other strength values or spirit values to unlock other Pokemon. So there's an aspect of an unlocking that's added to the grind, which can be fun for a lot of people.
I can totally see why the majority of the countries, America mainly, latched onto Pokemon.
Yes, it is a far easier formula.
Right, you just hit a level and they turn into a bigger Pokemon.
That's right. It is a far simpler thing, no doubt.
Excuse me. Yes, it is. I totally get this. I get it. I get why someone would like this and would play this. But it isn't for me. It just isn't for me. The gameplay isn't for me. The pacing... where it's not great also is not for me. Yeah.
There is a ton of micromanaging. This game is weirdly a slow story. That's why the island aspect was put on there. Later on, you can have 4 or 5 of them. And then you can make them Digimon specific, as in dragon or water. And then it's there you would digivolve and de-digivolve them and train their strength stats so it was a certain value so they could evolve them. It's kind of like collecting your Pokemon for the Pokédex. So there's the addictive nature of that. That's fundamentally the whole reason the island thing was there, because your own Digimon in your 3 people lineup would just get tons of experience and it was relatively easy just to evolve.
Okay.
So and there's the other little things they add in there, like the medal collecting is also another little like gacha. Gotta collect them all. Did you must have found a few medals or were given a few medals?
Yeah, I found a couple of medals. That's right.
That's the only thing it's for. So you can have a little database of the medals and a little Digimon, which is fun, I suppose. And then there's the arena system. Did you go upstairs to the arcade?
I didn't, because I think that... Isn't that a network? Do you not fight against other players?
Oh, no, but it does come across that way. Because the story develops it like that. No, there's a arcade machine at the top where it gives you bronze, silver, gold, platinum sets of Digimon to take out and then win rewards. There is of course a multiplayer option, but it is very basic. You just take your Pokemon attack. It's boring. The multiplayer in this game is boring as hell. So gameplay wise, and then it's just a case of, much like Pokemon, the gameplay is you have a vaccine Pokemon or a virus Pokemon or I forget what the other one is, and they are either strong or weak against the opposing Pokemon, and there's fire and lightning and water. But that does get stale. And you do have to go through a lot of Pokemon battling where you're just doing the same move, spamming the same thing. And yeah, it's, like you said, it's almost there. If the story was more developed, the gameplay was more engaging, the everything was explained a little bit more for people who don't know anything about them, this would get a lot more marks in the gameplay and in the game itself and fundamentally. But yeah, it is a bit lackluster, there's no doubt. And of course, there was also the...
unfortunate.
Did you get to the territory capture and domination little games, which were also relatively pointless?
No, what's this?
There's a little later on when you're taking down the bad guys, you'd have like this domination thing where you'd have your 3 Digimon put on squares, and they'd have their 3 Digimon put on squares, and you'd have to move your Digimon to little rings on the floor to score points, and then protect them from other Digimon. It was like a very, very simplified version of chess or checkers, depending on which one you play.
Okay.
But it was very simple. It was really dumb and relatively boring after you've done it for the 30th time.
Oh, come on.
And you have to just do it again and again and again. Yeah.
Why is this game so boring?
Yeah, they tried to add new mechanics, but the mechanics they added were just so meh. It's like, okay, this was fun the first time I did it, but now this can go away now. And it just kept coming. It just kept going. So yeah, they tried, but they certainly did fail. And sadly, this is still one of the best Digimon games.
It blows my mind. This is some of the best Digimon games.
It really is. It really is.
It's not. It's not. No. I don't. I find this average, subpar.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I like the music. That's about it.
I'd be the same if I didn't have my bias. Like, if I didn't enjoy it, I would be the same.
Which is totally fine. Be biased.
It would be boring and plain, and you'd question why it did so many sales and why it was doing so well. Yeah, you would. I get that.
Yeah.
But here's hoping that it only improves. Like I said, the idea that it came out to the West means it's getting lots of traction, which means hopefully newer games will be made, which are far better than this one.
I like the eventual story this game turned out to be, with Ryuji, Chiros, Erika. I like that. I just don't like that it takes 50 hours.
Yeah, it is far too long.
I like the fact that you're an employee of an internet cafe and you jump to and from this digital virtual world. That's cool. But don't make it boring.
Which they did, by all accounts. Okay, anything else gameplay you wanted to talk about?
No, we can go on to... my performance and value for money notes are quite short. Let's move on.
Performance, you were quite low. What happened?
Nothing. I just don't think... I didn't get any bugs, but I also don't think this game is that optimal. I find it average. I found it average. There were still loading screens when you move from anywhere, but I think that's just because this was made for the Vita.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the big crux comes in, because it was made for software that doesn't have the power and capabilities. But you're right that they didn't even change the port to allow for that. Like this game on a PlayStation 5 should have no loading screens whatsoever.
No.
Like, there is no reason. There's nothing graphically hard. There's not much audio. There really isn't many assets you're putting into each place. This should have been smooth, but it's not. Because, like you said, because it is a port from the Vita. It's just a straightforward one to the other. Nothing else.
Yeah, I found the performance very average, let's say that.
Yeah, but it is... Same here. It didn't have any bugs. I didn't see any bugs. I didn't have It's annoying that you've got no checkpoint saves really, so you got to save it all the time yourself.
Yeah.
And when you game over, you game over. Like if you do lose, if you don't have a save just beforehand, you are going back to your last one.
There we go.
Which is a bit hard,
There's that retro.
Yeah.
There's that retro bit coming back in.
Because we're so used to having our little checkpoints for saving us from each time we make a bad decision. But no, this one's hardcore. But yeah, apart from that, there's the occasional camera issue, but that's just because, again, it's a Vita port. You only had the one analog stick, so it's going to be really attached to the one analog stick and everything you do to it. This one was done to both sticks, but it just wasn't done well. Apart from that, it's the same. Value for money, what do you think?
I think this is good value if this is your thing, because this is a very niche...
It is kind of niche.
Okay, maybe not very niche, but this is a niche title somewhat. And if this is your thing, have at it. It's not my thing. But if this is your thing, this is good value.
Yeah, it is what it is. Again, it hasn't improved enough to make it to new players, new gamers out there.
No,
it's still being aimed at the Digimon gamers, and which is one of the problems fundamentally, because there isn't, like you say, there's nothing for you to grab in and say, wow, that mechanic is really cool, or whoa, I've never seen that done before, because it is all done before, and it is all mechanics that are used. It's fun if you love Digimon. It's fun if you love micromanaging and Tamagotchis and stuff like that. But that market is getting smaller and smaller as the years go on. Taking account you can't get Tamagotchis and stuff anymore. So value for money, I go over quite low. It's quite a cheap game to purchase now on digitally and physically. Actually quite easy to get secondhand. It actually produced quite a few million in physical copies, which was a bit shocking for Japanese games. Very rarely make a lot of physical copies because it's very expensive. You'll always do digital, but they made loads of the Digimon game for some reason. You can actually get it quite cheaply for secondhand physical discs.
Okay.
But no, I agree. And it's also one of the games, once you played it once, and I guess if you wanted to collect them all, you're not really going to pick it up again. You're going to wait for the next one. I mean, you want new Digimon.
Exactly. If you like the gameplay loop, sure, you'll go back just for that loop, just to play some more. But I think it is very narrative-based, and if you are finished with that, there's no real point. But with this narrative being 50 hours... and this is your thing, this is value for money.
Yeah,
can't deny that.
It's all, the narrative in its own right is like a visual game, isn't it? What do they call them? Is it visual games? Visual book games. The narrative is...
Visual novels.
Visual novels. It's almost detached from the gameplay. It's like you could just read it, and it'd be quite an intriguing book, as long as there wasn't so many fetch quests and stuff like that. And then the gameplay... No, it is like, granted, I'm going off the point. It is a bit of a mess. If you love it, then if you're a Digimon fan, then pick it up, because it's actually not bad compared to all the other Digimon games out there. It's actually quite good.
That's it. The bar's just so low.
So low. That's the problem. It really is. The problem is the bar is so low for these games. But this one's amazing.
Because of that, thanks. I think we're...
Yeah.
Do you have any more
No, that's it. That's it.
Closing thoughts?
No, that's it.
I don't know. I don't see me playing this game again.
You're going to uninstall it now, I don't doubt.
I've already uninstalled.
There you go. It's already uninstalled.
It's anyway, we took our scores, right? We took them to the digital world to do 10 million fetch quests. They did it, they come back, and one of them actually got their identity back, which turned out to be the letter grade rating of C-. Which is
actually pretty high. It's higher than I expected.
Same. I thought this was going to be D. I thought, we've got a D, maybe even D+ on our hands.
Maybe it's just we're so scarred from the other Digimon games that we played that we were also just changed and just gave this a better score, because we still have nightmares of the slow gameplay from 3 and the insane gameplay of Digimon World 1.
I don't even want to think about Digimon World 1, but I think you're right. We're so used to Digimon slop, we're finally getting a piece of toast. Oh, C-.
Yeah, exactly. Straight away. Thank God. But I'd say this is a C- game. Yeah, no.
Thank
it's not
you.
too bad.
thank you, List, for giving us another Digimon game. All hail the List.
All hail the List. But it can calm down now.
Please,
we don't need another one.
Down.
We don't. Yeah, we can calm down. We don't need more.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. If you'd be so kind, please leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening this on. It would help us beat the system and attract new listeners. Thank you. You can follow us on our social media channels on Threads and on Instagram. I think we're more busy on Instagram than on Threads. So just follow us on both. Easy.
Follow us everywhere. Yeah, man.
Except we'll get there. You can follow me on email at nick@criticalarcade.com.
And I'm Dave at criticalarcade.com.
Where else can we follow you though, Dave?
You can follow me. I will be out and about, but during my tenure playing the Digimon games, I actually did make friends with a Digimon called Scoomon. Now, if that doesn't mean anything to you, does it, Nick? Do you know Scoomon?
No, what the? I'm Googling
Scoomon's
it now.
Scoomon, Scumon. He's a very unique Digimon because he is modelled on a turd.
Oh, this is a turd Digimon.
Yeah, and his special attack is throwing turds. So, I am friends with this little fella. He looks male to me, and I will make him follow you around, and he will throw his little pink turds at you at every moment, at every quiet moment with your loved ones, at every business meeting you're in. He will continuously just throw his little pink turds at you because he's my friend.
This might be one of the worst ones,
right? It's really weird. There's a Digimon that's built around a turd, and he evolves into a platinum turd if you want to.
No,
he does. He's big old shiny Sukamon. There you go.
Don't follow Dave.
Don't follow Dave. That's it.
Follow. Go check us out on our Patreon for exclusive content like a bonus show where we just talk about the gaming industry and our gaming endeavors in general, but also for a show called Critical Cinema, where we take this exact formula and review movies instead of just games, because I've not seen anything. I'm a little shit who needs to watch some more movies.
See, have you watched Alien before, Nick? You know Alien, the movie?
No.
See?
Of course I know.
See what I mean? Like, he's not watched Alien.
Well, I'm gonna, because the List, all hail the List, is gonna tell me to watch Alien.
I just can't believe I haven't watched Alien.
That's not James Cameron. That's... Don't tell me. It's... Ooh, I'm close. I can't remember. Who is it?
well, ladies and gentlemen, he's literally turning 30 in the next few days, and it feels like his brain has got there before him. I'm always in the case. I remember. Oh no, I forgot. You went too far.
Who is it? Tell me, who is it?
Really famous.
Ridley Scott. Ridley
there
Scott.
we go.
Ridley Scott. I did it. I'm not 30 yet. It's Ridley
I was
Scott.
about to say Blade Runner, but you got there before me. Ridley Scott, correct.
That's good.
You haven't watched that movie, so I can't believe it. I find it strange that somebody could be coming into their 30s and not watched... Have you watched any of the Alien movies?
I've watched... This isn't going to count, but I've watched Prometheus.
I knew you were going to say Prometheus, strangely enough. I knew that was coming up. I don't know why. I just knew he was going to say Prometheus. Which it kind of counts. Out, though,
what was that? Was that 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's a while now, yeah. That kind of counts. It's
kinda.
Not even close to as good as the first and second Alien movies, but
yeah,
I'll give you credit for that one. It kind of
great. If you want to hear Dave rip some more on me for not watching movies, check out our Patreon and Critical Cinema. Before we finish off, Dave, how would you tell us what have we got lined up for next week?
Well, next week's game is actually a bit of a shocker for me, and I think it's for you too. It's a game I didn't even know existed. Because
same.
Okay, it's GoldenEye Rogue Agent for the PlayStation 2. Now we all know GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64, probably the greatest game on the Nintendo 64. I didn't even know. I'm guessing it's a sequel or prequel or something. Came out for the PlayStation 2.
Here's the thing.
But it exists.
I think it's mainly for the GameCube.
Oh, really?
Right?
And
because the originals for the N64,
yeah, of course,
the sequel would then be on GameCube. That only makes sense, right?
Yeah, it would.
So I think that's the case.
But I've never, even heard of it. Now, I'm not an expert in games and stuff like that, but you'd imagine that GoldenEye being a James Bond, being a kind of a big IP, I would have heard of the next GoldenEye game coming out. But seriously, straight over my head, never heard of this game. So that would be fun to look. It's a deep dive into something neither of us have even heard of. Well,
we might have a diamond in the rough here.
Yeah,
we might just have a polished turd.
Sukamon. Sorry, just remind me of the...
Okay.
Did you hear that, Sukamon? Polished turd.
Yeah,
no, he's happy. Wow. He's happy. Wow, he's happy. Okay, yeah, I look forward to that. Hopefully, or it could be horrible. Hopefully. So we'll see. Listen, tune in next week.
Yeah, tune in next week to hear our thoughts on GoldenEye Rogue Agent. We'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.